Yeah, my brakes did actually fail. We're gonna get to that later. I'll show you that later. But first, we're gonna go to race number 1, F4 at Mugello. And the reason I was doing this series in the first place is because my Formula license is a D class, and since the new pickup came out, I haven't been driving that just because I don't enjoy the car that much anymore. So I'm trying to find something new to drive, and I'm kind of gravitating towards Formula, but I literally don't have anything to drive because I'm in D class. So I'm trying to get my safety rating up, and you're probably thinking, why am I using F4s to get my safety rating up? Especially when shit like this happens into turn 1 all the time. The reason is, there's literally no other series for me to drive. I'm stuck driving this for safety rating, and another wreck, just barely avoiding it. We're up into P, I think 20 now, just because people are wrecking in front of me. But yeah, there's nothing. There's USF 2000s, which I could definitely drive. I don't own the car, and there's probably not that much registration compared to this, so this is my best option. There's literally nothing else for me to choose from if I want to get back into at least C class. So yep, this is what we're doing, and I intended on these races to be as boring as possible, obviously, because I want to just gain safety rating. But since I'm making a video on them, clearly they weren't that boring. So yeah, let's hop on board with us. Looking behind, this guy's name is Aidan Price. Every time I race Formula, he is always in the race, racing against me. He's basically on the same pace as me every single race I drive against him, and that is not exactly who I want behind me right now, because he's going to do stuff like this. He's going to try to go for moves and try to battle me, and as much as I would love to dip my toes into battling and have some fun, I really don't need to right now. I just need to focus on not getting off tracks and not dying. Which is a very hard thing to do in this car, because literally everybody in this car, everybody in this series is like aggressive as shit. A lot of people in this series are toxic, and it's a very interesting environment to drive in. So I'm trying to focus all of my brain power on just not getting involved with those aggressive, toxic drivers, just driving my own race. But now I have Aidan Price behind me trying to make moves on me every corner we go into. So I have a lot of things to think about at this point, but it doesn't matter, because going into turn 1, 2 people up ahead of me are just going to give me free positions, and that's going to allow Aidan Price behind to try to make a move on me. But luckily, I can make an easy move on the guy ahead of me to kind of separate me and Aidan. So now we have a car between us. I have a little bit of breathing room, and I can just keep looking ahead and wait for these people up ahead of me to make mistakes. And I'm really far down in the grid, so the people that I'm surrounded by right now are people that they're really not on pace. Most of them are actually doing the same thing I'm doing, where they're just trying to gain safety rating. They're not really that involved in trying to battle people. They're just driving their own race. They don't really care about their actual pace. So moments like this happen very often, where this guy up ahead of me just completely overslows. I'm not expecting it because I'm driving my normal lap, but he overslows so much to where I almost rear-end him. Luckily, I just catch it in time to not actually rear-end him, and up here something interesting is going to happen. They're going to go too wide. The guy ahead of him overslows on exit, and I don't know why I did this, but I was feeling a little frisky. Even though I'm doing this race for safety rating, I wanted to feel what it felt like to go 3 wide just for a little bit, even if I backed out mid-corner. Normally, if I wasn't going for safety, honestly, I might have tried to make that stick brake really late to try to outbrake both of them. And it looks like I'm trying to do it again into the last corner, but you can see I back out once again. Follow the guy on the inside and just try to get this position for free. Not really risking too much. This is a very safe move. I'm not really risking anything crazy, just trying to get him on exit, and unfortunately he has the slipstream of the guy ahead, but luckily I'm just close enough to box him out from going around him, so he actually resorts to pushing him. Even though we're in F4 and we do have very fragile front wings, he's just going to push the guy ahead of him. But going into turn 1, I'm going to outbrake both of them. They're not even going to open up the corner, and on corner exit, car 12 is going to get a better run, but I have the inside for turn 2, and he just gives it up. And that puts us up into, I'm pretty sure, P12. But if we look behind, there's Aidan Price. He followed us all the way through that entire pack. So we aren't just completely let off the hook yet. We still have to run a pretty quick lap here to just make sure we solidify that he can't catch up to us. And luckily, if you look ahead, we have a pretty large margin to work with. So I'm going to be able to push the car as hard as I can. And I'm going to bring you along for basically an entire half of a lap just to show you what this track car combo is like, because it is really fun to just hot lap. As you can see, this entire double right section is just completely flat out, and in most other like sports cars, it's at least a lift, if not a brake. Like in the old pickup, it was literally a brake. The only bad part about this car track combo is those sausage curbs. Normally you can completely run them over and still not get an off track. In this car, if you run them over, you basically lose all force feedback in your wheel while you're like flying in the air, and it just doesn't feel that nice. I don't think it's faster. It doesn't really feel faster. Maybe it is. I don't really know. I wasn't taking the sausage curbs just because it didn't feel right, and I didn't want to keep struggling or kind of fighting my wheel into every corner. But we're going through the last corner now. Let's see if I actually hit the apex this time. Sort of, still not an amazing corner, and I mean, with how little speed this thing has on throttle, I definitely could have gotten on throttle a lot earlier there, but I'm not going to complain about a lap when I had completely clear air. Honestly, felt pretty good, hooked it up other than that, but yeah. This is where shit gets interesting once again. There's never a dull moment in F4. We're going to skip ahead to after turn 1. Up ahead of me, the cars ahead are just going to decide they all want to kill each other. And this guy's rejoining the track right in front of where my racing line is. I didn't know whether to go to the outside or the inside here. Kind of scared him a little bit. I did come up behind him really quickly, and Aiden Price is going to take advantage of that. With all of that speed I had to scrub off to stay behind that guy and not kill him. Aiden Price is going to go side by side with me into probably the most dangerous part of the track to do so. But it's fine, because I have the inside for this flat out corner, and then we could just look off into the grass as it's like a nature documentary here. Everybody is just doing whatever the fuck they want. It's just a free-for-all at this point. But we're going to go on board with Aiden Price behind, see if he can make a move into this next corner. He's understeering off the track, just taking all of the off tracks this race. He's definitely not doing this race for safety rating, but he doesn't go for the move, luckily. So we're going to hop on board back with us. We have a little bit of clean air once again, but it's not going to last too long, because we're going to skip ahead to basically like a lap and a half later. We're going to be on the ass of this guy ahead of us, Diogo, and this is where things are going to get really, really interesting. Going into turn 1, you can see I have a humongous run, and he notices that in his mirrors, so he's going to defend turn 1, and we're going to go around the outside. And at this point, I felt pretty confident that I would be able to battle somebody without really risking anything crazy, because it's only me and him. But going into turn 2, he's just going to turn in as if I'm not on his inside, which is really interesting. I didn't really think anything of it. I'm pretty sure it was a 0x, but we get the position done. But it's not over. Just wait till this next chicane. So he's right behind us. I'm pretty confident he's not going to get me here. And he just dives down the inside of a corner that is basically flat out. So I had something to say to him.
Yeah, nice one. Good racing with you, buddy. Really good race.
Yeah, normally I don't get verbal in voice chat, but if someone's this idiotic, then I usually do. I mean, look he's dragging his rear left tire behind him, trying to finish this race. I don't know what he's expecting, but then he finally gains some sense, pulls over, and goes back to pits. So he tows back to the pits, and is going to wait for his fast repair, because in F4 you do have one fast repair, and I do the same thing. And then we're going to skip ahead to later when my tow finally finishes and I get that fast repair and I'm back off to the races. And we're going to hop on board with me going to the exit of this pit lane. That's not Diogo right there, but in front of that car, there he is. And we're going to look behind us because he gets his pit exit at the same time as us basically, but he speeds in the pit lane to try to catch up to me. So at this point, I'm fully thinking I'm about to get intent wrecked. There's no way you would just speed in the pit lane for no reason other than to just follow me and intent wreck me. And it looks like he's going to, but for some reason he just doesn't. I don't know what just happened. So at this point now I'm thinking, okay, we're battling. The same situation is going to happen all over again. But then he just lets me go. So he basically speeds in the pit lane for no reason and gets himself disqualified. Yeah. He was disqualified from the race at the end, and we're going to finish the race in a solid P18. Yeah. So we were in P9 at one point, and we dropped down another half of the grid. And then on top of that, we got enough incident points to literally net nothing in safety rating. We got 0 safety rating from this race. Anyways, let's just completely forget about that last race. Let's move on to the next one. It's still the same week. We're still doing F4, but it's at a different track because F4, I'm pretty sure, has 4 different regions, all at different parts of the world, basically, different tracks, all running at the same time. So today, or during this race, we're at Zandvoort, and right there, that guy just jumped the start. Let's just ignore that. pretend that he didn't do that and just focus on the beginning of our race. Going off the line pretty well, getting ahead of that guy that jumped the start somehow, and going into turn 1, we have the inside, which is the safest place to be at any track in turn 1, because if you have the outside of turn 1, if there's a wreck, the people that are sliding out from that wreck are just going to go to the outside of the corner. So it's always safest to have the inside of turn 1, no matter where you are. I'm pretty sure there's no track where it's safer to be on the outside. So yeah, just keep that in mind next time you're racing, especially F4s. But we get by a decent amount of people into the top 10 already, and we have a decent gap ahead of us, so we're going to skip ahead to lap 4, where we eventually do sort of catch up to them. Going into the hairpin, 2 people are just going to kill each other and almost bring me with them, and it's going to make it really awkward for this yellow car up ahead of me. He's going to be forced to completely slow down and give up the position, and the car ahead of him was already really slow on exit, so I got that position for free as well, and we're pretty firmly up into, I think, the top 5 at this point. We'll wait for the relative to reset, but bad news is we have 3x. We have 3 incident points, which is exactly what I'm doing these races for, is to not get those. So it's not looking good on that end of the stick. But we're going to skip ahead to lap number 8. Up ahead, the next 2 drivers up ahead of me are starting to battle, which is going to draw them back to me. And that means I'm going to get into this battle as well. And even though I am doing this for safety rating, like I said before, I'm just I'm not aggressive, but I am a person who likes to be involved, if that makes any sense. Going into this hairpin, he overslows, lets the guy in front of him by, and because of that, I almost rear-end him, and that wouldn't have been good, because then I would have lost my front wing, and there would have been a lot of understeer involved in the rest of my race, which is not what I want at this point, because I want to get into this battle. Speaking of, at the exit of this hairpin, he gets a really bad exit, so I have the outside of the next corner, but you could see I just let off my throttle, because it's never worth going around the outside of that corner. You're either going to go into the gravel, or you're going to have to back out eventually. So I back out really early, focus on my exit, going onto this very long pit straight, and he sees that in his mirror, starts defending going into turn 1. We're starting to lose the guy ahead of us, but that's fine, because I just want this one position for now. Luckily, turn 1 at this track is fairly easy to go around the outside of, but on the inside of turn 1, he locks up, almost pushes us off the track, but we're still side by side on the exit, and it looks like I have the inside for this next corner coming up, but that's not always the best option, because you could see I'm all the way at the bottom of that camber, and he just gets a way better run than me, getting the switchback. And I mean, you would think the bottom line in that corner, the inside of any corner, is always more advantageous, but that corner at this track is one of the most unique corners in all of racing, because the outside line, the higher up you are in that corner, the better run you get out of the corner, just because of all of that camber. So that was a perfect example of that. He got a switchback, beautiful move by him, but we're going to skip ahead to the moment of truth in this race, because we're on the penultimate lap right now, but going on to the final lap of the race. Literally one more lap. They had to hold up for one more lap, but they decided to go at this moment in the race. Going into turn 1, we have the outside, and if you look at the bottom right on my data, you could see my brakes went up to around 60% and then just went to dead zero. In this moment, I honestly don't even remember what I was thinking, except for just having pure panic. I mean, imagine this happened in real life. Like, the valuable lesson I took from this is, like, even though this is the sim, it showed me how dangerous racing really is. Because if this did happen in real life, there's nothing you can do to stop your car from smashing into a wall. And from what I understand, brake failure honestly happens more often in real life cars than it does in the simulator. Modern race cars are obviously safer than they've ever been before, but if something like this happens in real life, you're just fucked. But thank God this isn't real life. I had brake failure, yeah, it sucks, and yes, my brakes actually did end up breaking, and I had to replace the sensor on them, but luckily, I had a spare set of brakes already lying around that have the same sensor, so I just replaced the sensor with the old one that still works, and I still have brakes. After the wreck, I was trying to regain my thoughts and see what actually happened, so I went back into first gear and tried to start braking to see if my brakes were fully broken, and you could see they definitely are. And yeah, I can't believe this happened to me. I've seen videos of this happening to other people, but the fact that it happened to me, especially in the middle of a battle, was honestly crazy.